What's good, you guys? Rucker here, aka James, and we are here because this is the season analysis and intro for the DTC Season 3. As you can see, we've been rebranded for the second time, and we are now the Boston Blastoise. Little insight, Blastoise is my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, even though I don't really consider Gen 1 its own separate thing. It wasn't far enough developed when it came out, as opposed to Gen 2. I know it started it all off, but hey. Okay, now getting into this, as you guys can see, there's a bunch of stuff here. The Draft League rules, we're playing in sports. We are playing with the new moves from post DLC. No Gigantamax, no Dynamax, because that's crap. No Baton Pass, no Moody, because that's dangerous. And if you notice here, what's different than the previous years is we have Smogon Uber's clauses instead. And then the S tier and S plus tier Pokemon cannot be Z Captains. And we'll get into that in just a moment. No Omni boosting moves. All the general stuff for forfeits and stuff. No scheduling. Substitutes for players. Team roster guidelines. Every team has to have 11 Pokemon. A max of 1 S tier plus. They can have a max of 1 Mega. Each team must consist of 1 S plus tier, 1 T1, 1 T2, 2 tier 3s, and 1 tier 4. Tier 5 is not mandatory, and you have 440 points to draft the non-free Pokemon. So the S1 tier, T1, T2, the 2 T3s, and the T4, as you can see on the screen, come to the coaches at no cost. And then this is how Z Captains work from tier 1 down. And you can have any combination that adds up to 100. Now, there are major changes this season. First major change is Megas are not mandatory. There's no way to gain extra points, which I've done in the past to try to improve my draft. By taking cheapo Megas to increase the points on my regular draft teams. That's all gone. And the biggest change, the elephant in the room, is we are doing Ubers this season. There's 2 tiers, S Plus and S, with a variety of different mons. S Plus are the ultra premium, over the top Ubers. We don't have super broken things in here because certain things get out of control. Kyogre. And as you can see from the other side, from what I just explained, the tier lists and how it works. Also, Megas are not mandatory is a big thing. Because if you draft a mon like Arceus or Giratina with its alternate form, they're forced to hold an item. Those players can grab a Mega, but the forcing somebody to have a Mega while they already have a Mon that is forced to hold an item kind of sucks. So it's super balanced in that fashion. And we're going to get right into my picks. We're going to go by the order I drafted them in, not by the tiers that they come in. So you can get some of what I was thinking. My first pick is in the S tier, which is at a cost of 220 points. So I'm going to have to pay for that on the other end of my draft. This is a points pick, not a free pick. My thoughts behind Magina are, look at its stats. And it's Fairy Steel, which eliminates one of its weaknesses. It picks up a couple other weaknesses in fire and ground, but hey, base 80 HP, 95 attack, 115 defense, 130 special attack, 115 special defense, and 65 speed. That erroneous 65 speed, though, can be changed with tons and tons of different strats and things like that, different moves and abilities and whatever else. The ability on Magearna is Soul Heart, and if you are not familiar with it, bottom of the screen, it's posted. It boosts special attack when a Pokemon dies. Now, I don't actually know this in practice, if it works just like Moxie, but with your special attack, or if it works where if a Mon faints in front of Magearna, it gets a boost. If it's the latter, that's broken as all get out, and that's really all I have to say about Magearna. This thing's a monster unto itself. Is it a premium Uber? No. Is it better than anything that you could possibly get in a tier 1 in a normal draft? Most certainly. My second pick is my S plus tier Uber, and I don't know how it got to me. Breaking the fourth wall, I was the 8th person to draft. So that means this, in the snake draft, it went down. I got Magearna, and then went all the way down to 16, and then came all the way back up to me without anybody taking Ho-Oh. Now, I know what you're saying. Ho-Oh is a fire, flying, or flying fire type, and Rocks is going to obliterate it. Well, those of you who don't know, a lot of the new items come in clutch. Super clutch for all of the fire types, a lot of the flying types, those that are punished a lot by rocks. The new items help a lot. With the abilities Pressure and Regenerator, I don't know how often I'm going to use Pressure. If I feel like somebody's going to try to stall me, I could probably PP stall them back and just be a dickbag if I have to. But the stats on this thing are insane. It's super bulky, super offensive. It's got a decent speed tier at 90, 106 HP. This thing is a flying fire tank. It has access to a bunch of different stuff. It's insane. It's a goddamn Ho-Oh. There's nothing else you need to say about it. Third pick goes to tier 2. Yes, I skipped tier 1. I didn't know what I wanted from tier 1, to be perfectly honest. I was thinking of going in one direction based on some of the other mons in the draft, but I wasn't really sure on what I was going to do. So I grabbed Rotom Wash. The HP at 50 kind of sucks, but whatever. 65 attack. I'm never using physical attacks on this, let's be honest. 107 in both defenses. Bulky. 105 special attack is smashing. It's a pivot, it's a wall, it's fantastic. 86 speed's not the greatest, but it is immune to ground type moves with its only ability Levitate. And that Z you see there, that Z means it's one of my 3 Z users. And I'm hoping it comes in clutch. I know there's a lot of different plays you can already make with Rotom, but forcing my opponent to prep for the possibility of me having a Z Crystal on here as well could force them to misplay. My fourth pick is in tier 3. Yes, I still haven't jumped back up to get my T1 pick. In Seismitoad, and I know you're probably saying, Rucker, wait, that's a back-to-back water draft. What are you doing? You making a water team? What's going on here? No, I'm not making a water team. Swift Swim, Poison Touch, and Water Absorb. Seismitoad is a monster. Immune to electricity, and if I take Water Absorb, immune to water. Not just immune to water, but healed by water. It's got decent defensive stats in 75. Not the greatest, but not the worst. It's got good attack at 95. Okay special attack at 85. Alright speed at 74. And 105 HP is nothing to turn down. Now, this thing has a lot of utility, a lot of different uses. And I'm hoping that its 4 times weakness to grass doesn't come back to bite me. But then again, I have a goddamn Ho-Oh in the back, so if I'm worried about grass types, there we go. My fifth pick, T4 Orbeetle. Now, last season or in another draft I was a part of, Orbeetle was T3. T3 is just a little too expensive for Orbeetle. T4 is about right. I would love to see it in T5, but that's never going to happen. The defenses on this thing are outstanding, 110 and 120. Its typing being Bug Psychic is kind of odd, I would have to say. It's got a lot of weird weaknesses that I'm going to have to watch out for. But it brings a lot to the team. Swarm, to be honest, probably never going to use. Telepathy is an ability that I'm never going to use in singles draft, and neither should you unless it's the only ability that something has. Telepathy is for doubles. Never use it. Frisk allows me, if you don't know, it allows me to see what item my opponent is rocking. Information can help win battles. And yes, it is a Z user. It's got phenomenal coverage, so people have to watch out for this. It's got terrible HP and worse physical attack, but it's not a physical attacker, so it doesn't matter. 80 special attack is nothing to turn down. It's not something you laugh at. It can chip, it can hit, and it can slam, depending on what I'm bringing. It also, like I said, has a bunch of other utility that it can be used for. Most notably is webs, which, if you don't know, slows my opponents down by 1 speed tier. So they come in at negative 1 speed. If they're not flying or levitating or, air balloon or whatever. My 6th pick, Tier 4 Tangela. Now, this is also a steal. Tangela is a monster. It's got super high defense. It's got really good special attack at 100. Most sets rock this with Eviolite, Chlorophyll, and then Leaf Guard and Regenerator. All fantastic abilities that have their own separate uses. 60 speed, 40 special defense, 65 HP, and 55 attack aren't great. But this thing will wall ground types for days. There are a million different sets you can use. And ground types are kind of a problem for my team. Magearna, weak to ground types. And that was my first pick. But also, Zygarde Complete is in this draft. And it is drafted in my league. So, hopefully this can help me get the edge on Zygarde Complete and allow me to stay in the battle long enough to take it out. Also, side note, there are 2 sides to this league now. There is League A and League B. Think about it like Pokemon High School and Pokemon Middle School. Now, I don't mean to demean anybody else who's also in Pokemon Middle School with me. I'm in Tier B, League B, where we're not at the level of people like Raven, BTP Raven, or Ice Master, or Sam SJT, or the Dragon Slayer himself, Bailey Perry. Those guys have all, or Malik, who trashed me last season. Those guys are all monsters in their own right. They all have their own different kinds of play, and they have all also drafted scary teams that I don't want anything to do with. So I'm glad I'm in League B. On to my 7th pick is my Tier 1 pick. Now, I was deciding, before I drafted Tangela, I was deciding between 2 Mons, Megalopony or Mega Venusaur. The problem with Mega Venusaur is it does not wall Zygarde. It takes, I think, neutral damage from EQ, or 1,000 arrows, so it's not really a viable switch in. It's not really a viable use against the monster that is Zygarde Complete. And it stacks other weaknesses that I don't really want to encourage opponents to use. So I grabbed Megalopony. Super, super strong hyper offense. Now, you see on here I have the pick for both Lopunny and Megalopony. The reason for that is when you draft in the DTC, you are not forced to Mega. So that means you can use Lopunny or Megalopony, or whatever your Mons are, depending on your use. Now, the only downside to this is you must carry your Mega Evolution Stone. So you're kind of stuck with the item, but if a mon has different uses in its normal form and its mega form, you can do that. Megalopony doesn't. Megalopony's here to basically smack down anything and everything. And if a team is chipped and it's low and it's down and Megalopony's free to come in, they're in a lot of trouble. This thing is consistently in the top for kill leaderboards. It's consistently performed really, really well. It's got great stabs. It's got great utility. It's super fast. Especially once you Mega Evolve it. 135 speed is insane. 136 base attack is insane. Its defenses aren't bad at 94 and 84, so it can take a couple hits depending on the kind of hits. HP's not great and special attack aren't great, but it's not here to take a ton of hits. It's here to wipe teams out or take out specific mons that are hard for my team to deal with. My 8th pick, Umbreon. It's got Synchronize and Inner Focus. Synchronize means that if I get poisoned, I get burned, I get parried, so do you. Barring that you're immune to it. Steel types can't be poisoned or toxic, and electric types can't be parried. Inner Focus allows me to not be flinched. So it all depends on what I think my opponent's going to bring is what I need. Super defensive, 110 defense, 130 special defense. Its attack stats aren't that great, but it's not really used much to attack opponents. It's used to chip, it's used to wear down, and it's used to keep my team healthy and strong. It's used to take non-super effective hits. It's meant to stay here, live here, and it's got access to some tech that'll hopefully allow me to throw my opponents off guard. My 9th pick, T5 Lycanroc Midnight. Do I think Lycanroc Midnight deserves to stay in T5? No, I don't. Do I think it's a steal at T5? Yes, I do. T4, maybe T3. The other Lycanrocs are like T2, T3. But this does not have access to a Cell Rock, which is priority rock type, which is the biggest difference between this and those. But the abilities on this, Keen Eye, Vital Spirit, No Guard. Keen Eye means I can't have my accuracy reduced, which you can't do that in this draft league anyway, so that's kind of meh. I don't remember what Vital Spirit does at this point. And No Guard, which means I am missing nothing. If I have a move that's 50% accurate, hitting it. If I have a move that's 75% accurate, hitting it. The only problem with that is my opponent's hitting everything too. So, it's got its own weaknesses being a mono rock type, but 85 HP, base HP is decent. 115 attack is really good. 75 in both defense and special defense. It can take a little bit of a hit. Special attack is garbage, but I'm not using it for special attack. And speed is 82, which means this has a lot of options when it comes to playing around opponents' teams. So I thought it was a fantastic pick at T5. With grabbing Magearna, I had to grab a bunch of lower tier mons because of the cost of Magearna. So I was looking for the best for the budget, which is why Tangela, which is why Lycanroc Midnight. They're really, really good picks for their price. My 10th pick, Noivern in T4. This thing should not be in T4. I know Bailey Perry would agree with me. I know a lot of other players that I've watched use it in draft format would agree with me. 123 base speed, 80 in both of its defenses, 97 special attack, 70 attack, 85 HP. This thing can hit like a truck. It can hit on both sides if you absolutely need it to. Again, telepathy is a garbage ability. Do not use it if you're in singles. But Frisk, again, Frisk is here to fetch what items they have. And Infiltrator, if I think somebody's going to sub, and this I have super effective coverage, if I really feel someone's going to play the sub game, and I can hit around that sub I'm going to. Infiltrator is a really cool ability, and with access to super high damaging moves in Hurricane and I think Boom Burst and a whole bunch of other stuff, this thing isn't something you want to take lightly. And it kind of is something you want to be leery of if you are prepping for your opponent's team. And my 11th pick, my last pick, is T4 Electros. Electros. What do I have to say about this? It's got Levitate. It's an electric type. So its most common dangerous foe, barring someone having Mold Breaker, this thing can sit in, it can take hits, 80 defense, 80 special defense. Again, the bulk is there. 85 HP, that's decent HP, and it's got the physical attack and special attack to complement it. It can sit in, it can switch in on EQs, it's got pivoting abilities. Speed is crap, but that's what you get when you have something that really is a solid mon all on its own. Overall, for my draft, I'm a little slow tier-wise. I lack a little priority. But I think overall, it was a great draft. I think I'm one of a very few players that, after the draft was done, Raven was kind enough to give us a grace period to fix any muck-ups that people have with their draft. If you're like, well, I kind of screwed the pooch with taking that and then taking this and then taking that, there was like a 2-day grace period where you could fix your draft. I'm one of a couple people that didn't actually change anything. I didn't see what I could grab that would benefit my team more than what I already have over what was available without taking out some of the stuff I really wanted to use, aka Magirna. That, and I didn't want to be that guy where I would wait till the last second and then drop my pick and grab something so that everybody else is kind of screwed out of taking it. Not that kind of guy. I'm not going to play like that. But that is my draft. Hopefully this season goes better than last season with me being 3-7. But other than that, I really can't wait to get into this and start playing. This will be going up on Saturday, the 9th of May, 2020. Breaking the fourth wall. So my first battle is going to be the 10th. I'm hoping that the vid for that battle will go up on the Wednesday following. I verse a really tough opponent. Give props to him. His draft is insane. And yeah, that's about all I got for my draft analysis and my intro. Thank you guys for coming in and checking it out. Make sure you stay safe in these dangerous times. The disease is not the only thing that's dangerous. Just remember that. Peace out for now.